Assam Kazi. So you haven't missed out on much. I'm just introducing the quadratic equation, and we have this parabola. The midpoint is called vertex, and you can find the value using this formula: x equals minus b over 2a, and using that you can find the vertex, the turning point. Turning point is also the midpoint of the two roots. These are called roots where it cuts the x-axis. And these roots, if you add them, you get this middle number. And if you multiply them, you get this number, provided that x squared is with 1. If it's not with 1, then you divide this number by that and this number by that, and you get your answer. So basically, minus b in a situation like this, where you have f of x equal to x squared and all that, this numbers minus b is sum of roots, which means it's alpha plus beta. And this number c is product of roots, which means it's alpha times beta. Okay, so that, and obviously vertex has minus b over 2a. That's your average. And you can clearly see why that is. That is because minus b is what? It is sum of the two roots. And GG, and you divide them by 2 to get the average. So you can clearly see that the vertex is basically an average of the two roots that you have. Clear so far? These 4 ideas are very important for SAT questions. The next thing is that quadratic equation can have different forms. There is one form which is called the canonical form. This one, canonical. And then this is this form, x minus h whole square plus k. And then there is this form, which is x minus alpha, x minus beta. Each form, so this one is called the completed square form, or we also call it the vertex form. Okay. And this one is called the root form. The reason why they're called that is because the canonical, obviously, it means it has been used since antiquity. So that's the case. Vertex form tells us the vertex, and vertex in this case is hk. So just take the value of this number and this number, and that is your vertex. Similarly, roots, the roots are alpha and beta, the two roots that you have. So based on that, you can easily see each form gives us an advantage. Now, I don't want to go through the, like, why is vertex form equal to the other ones. I don't want to go into that, but you should be able to convert them. That is called completing square method. Sorry. Have you seen this before? O-levels people might have. Ahmed, have you seen this?
Yes, sir, I've done this.
Okay, so I'll just quickly go over this. That basically what you do is, the first step is to divide the equation by this number a. So that you get this x squared plus b over a, x plus c. And then you basically assume that you have this thing as separate. And the reason, if you will give me 2 minutes, I can explain why this is the case. Okay, but if you get bored, just let me know, or if it gets too complicated, just let me know. Okay, so here's the idea. We call it completing the square because it's literally completing the square. So you have ax squared plus bx plus c. Can I say that this one is ax times x, and this one is b times x, and this is c times 1? I can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means I can have a rectangle with one side as x and one side as ax. And I can have another rectangle with one side as b, and the other side as x. And the third one is c times 1, right? I can say that. Now, here's the thing. What if I were to divide them all by a? Like, divide every one by a. If I divide this by a, it becomes a square, right? It's a square, both sides x and x. So this is x, that is x. If I divide this by a, like this one, then it just becomes a shorter version of the same thing. Okay, x, and this is b over a. It's a shorter version of that, and that one becomes just c over a times 1. But all I'm doing is basically taking A as common. This is like saying take A as common here. If I take AX common, what do I get? X B over AX plus C over. So I haven't really changed much here. Okay. Now the next thing I would do is I can divide this into two parts. So if I divide this into two parts, what is the area of each of these? It's B over 2A, right? B over A was the total length, so I've divided it by 2. Clear?
Ji.
Acha. Now here's an interesting part. If I take one of these B over 2A thing, what is its width? Its width is X, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can take this one and put this one here like this, where the length is X and the height is B over 2A. And if I take this one, I can put it here like this, where the length is X and this is B over 2A. And I have to complete the square. Do you see this? This is seriously becoming a square, which with the length being B over 2A and B plus X plus B over 2A, and this length also becoming X plus B over 2A. And what am I missing? This part, which is what? The width is B over 2A.
B over 2A.
B over 2A squared. Yes, exactly. So if I want to add that part, I'll just subtract that part on the side as well. Okay, just to make sure I have that on the side. And that is why whenever you're doing this, you have, now this becomes a full square with the area being X plus B over 2A whole squared. And this is just there to make sure that hum usko balance rakhein. And obviously that C over A part is still there. And there you have it. You have completed the square.
So it's actually completing the square, not just.
It is actually completing the square, yes.
Yeah. This is cool, yeah.
And obviously all of this has A at the end. So overall the area remains the same. But you're just, in fact, I was reading up on this that when people actually first discovered it, they actually discovered completing the square first, and they discovered these later on, because completing the square was dependent on geometry, and people have been studying geometry since I don't know why. All right, so that was the fun detour for me. I don't know about you guys. But how do you complete the square? I give you an equation like 2x squared plus 7x minus 3. So what's the first step we usually do?
Sir, अगर तो कोई integer common ले सकते हैं पहली two terms में से वो ले
What do you mean common ले सकते हैं?
सर अगर मतलब common नहीं आ रहा ना इसमें 2 और 7 common नहीं ले सकते हैं
क्यों ले सकते हैं?
हाँ ले सकते हैं sorry 2 common लेना है we need to leave x. Yeah,
taking common simply means you divide the thing with that number. That's what taking common means. So you take 2 here and then you divide everything inside by that. That's it. So it doesn't matter whether it's a factor or not. You can divide it, right? So you have this. Now you have to divide this into two parts. That's what we did over there. So we divided it into two parts. We add that square. Remember that small square part that we had to add at the end? That is this square. Everything else remains the same. This portion is our big square, x plus 7 over 2a whole squared. So if you want to... नहीं समझा. I'll do it again.
Like 2a कहाँ से समझ आया? कहाँ से आया?
2a कहाँ से आया? Did you follow this? ये समझ आया? So the width, this square was what I needed to add. And what is the width of this square? B over 2a. And the length is also B over 2a. So to add this square, that's what I did. This is my B.
Oh.
B over a basically. So मैं इसको divided by 2 करूँगा. ठीक है? And the shortcut here is, and that's the shortcut I want. Usually हम क्या करते हैं? 7 over 2x plus 7 over 2 का half, b over 2a squared minus that squared minus 3 by 2. But here's the shortcut you can use in SAT. Just divide this by number 2. Divide this number by 2, so that becomes 7 over 4. And there you go. You get it? and then
but वो C हाँ ठीक है
obviously the rest remains the same. Clear?
Yeah.
So this saves you a step, and then that is simply you can plug that into a calculator and you'll get your answer that 7/4 squared, and that is -73. So if I open this up, this is 2x plus 7/4 whole squared minus 73/8. So that's my vertex form. This is my remember the standard form is a x minus h whole squared plus k. So what is my vertex here? It is -7/4 and minus 73/8.
Yeah.
Everybody on the same page? You all understand this? If you don't get it, we will do some practice of this so you fully understand this, because this really helps. Now, a common mistake that students do is that they just take this number from here, but that's not the case. Remember, this is negative and that is positive. So you have to take the negative of this. If this is plus 7/4, your vertex is minus 7/4. If this is minus 7/4, your vertex is plus 7/4. That's a very common mistake. Okay, so that's the vertex. The last thing is discriminant. And it's called discriminant because it discriminates between different types of curves. So b squared minus 4ac, that's the formula. And it tells us three things. If it is positive, it means a different thing. If it is 0, it means a different thing. If it is negative, it means a different thing. If it is positive, that means the curve has two roots. If it is 0, it means the curve has just one root. It touches the x-axis and goes away, doesn't touch it on multiple points. And if it has no negative, then that means the curve doesn't touch the x-axis at all. Okay, so three different things that it means. Do you understand this? Now, here's an interesting thing. If you look at this curve, let's say this is a parabola. This is my vertex. What is my vertex? Minus b over 2a, right? And these roots are a certain distance away from it. And it turns out, let's say that distance is k. All right, so what is beta? This root that is minus b over 2a plus k, right? Because I've traveled that much to the right. And this one would be
minus k.
Minus k, because I've traveled backwards k steps. And this one would be minus b over 2a minus k, which basically means that if I add them both, I get my vertex. And no wonder when you add the roots, you get your vertex. But more importantly, this is telling me that the distance, if you want to get to this root, you just add something. And if you want to get to this root, you subtract something. And we have seen that before. We have seen something being added and subtracted. If you remember, minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And if I break this thing, what do I get? Minus b over 2a plus and minus square root b squared minus 4ac. What is this thing? This is basically the distance that is k here.
Sir, that is so cool, sir.
Now what happens is, basically, you're just going this many steps to the right, and for that one, you're going that many steps to the left. That is the negative part where you're going to the left, and this is the positive, the rightwards part. Okay, so basically the formula is just showing us what the graph is. They're technically the same thing, no difference in them.
So ये तो further maths का पहला chapter भी है ना?
Further maths, I don't remember. It's been a while I started it.
Yeah.
उसमें आप कौन-कौन सी कर्व्स पढ़ते हो?
सर मैंने सिर्फ एक क्लास ली थी, फिर मैंने वो मेरे सब्जेक्ट ज्यादा हो रहे थे, मैंने छोड़ दी थी.
How many subjects do you have?
सर 4 पहले तो काफी थे, पहले 5 थे, लेकिन फिर मैंने एक further maths छोड़ दिया.
Thank God you didn't make that mistake. I had 9 subjects in A levels.
Sir,
it was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
you are much smarter than I was.
Sir, but मैंने यही सोचा है और सीखा है कि ज्यादा लेने से इतना कोई फायदा नहीं है.
That is true, I agree.
नहीं सर, आपने ज्यादा सब्जेक्ट हो और सारे ग्रेड अच्छे हैं तो बड़ा शशका होता है.
खुदा के बंदे शशकी के लिए क्या करोगे? शशकी के लिए क्या करोगे तुम? भाई एक क्रूजर निकलवा ले, ज्यादा अच्छा शशका लग जाएगा तेरा। नेक्स्ट एक सूट पहन ले, इजी शशका।
ये भी सही है।
ए लेवल्स में 2 साल जलील होना। Okay, let's do this one. Can you find the can you tell me if this has 1 root, 2 root or 3 roots? Oh sorry, 1 root, 2 root or no roots? How would we do that?
No root.
How should we do that? How should we approach this?
Sir,
we have to know how many points. Yeah, we have to look at the discriminant because that discriminates between the kind of curve this one is. So this is b square minus 4ac. That's the formula. So we'll just plug this in there. 6 square minus 4 into minus 1. Don't forget the minus there. Minus 10. This gives me 36 minus 40. That is minus 4. It is negative. Negative means it does not touch the x-axis. Okay, so this has no roots. Okay, what will the shape be like? Will it be a U or will it be an N?
Sir, sad face.
It will be a sad face, yes, because this number is negative. Okay.
Sir, एक मजे का तरीका बताऊं याद करने का।
Yeah.
Sir, अगर A नेगेटिव है ना तो वो नेगेटिव वाइब्स दे रहा है, सैड फेस है। अगर पॉजिटिव है तो अच्छी वाइब्स दे रहा है, सैड हैप्पी फेस। इजी।
ओके ओके, ठीक है ठीक है।
सर आपको -4 से कैसे पता चला कि वो नो रूट्स हैं?
Basically, this discriminant has 3 options. Either it is positive, which means it cuts the x-axis at 2 points, or it is 0. Now let me explain why that is. Positive का मतलब क्या है? Positive का मतलब है go this many steps to the right and this many steps to the left. ऐसे ही है. What is b square minus 4c? That is this thing. You're just telling me by calculating it that okay, positive means let's suppose 4 आ जाता है. तो इसका मतलब है you have to go plus square root 4 to the right and plus minus square root 4 to the left to get to that new points. ऐसे ही है. You have to travel some distance. But if it is 0, then you don't have to travel. You're right there at the vertex and that is your root. Because अगर ये 0 हो जाता है, ये पूरा ही 0 हो जाता है, हाँ? Are you following this? Yes or no? Would suffice.
जी।
Moise?
So kind of.
Okay. And if it is negative, that means you start at your vertex and you go plus square root of a negative number to the right. What? Square root of a negative number steps? Makes no sense. That's not real numbers. So that means you can't really go anywhere. You're just there on the vertex and you're not traveling along this line. But in other words, if agar yaad hi karna hai na, so then if it is positive, there are 2 roots. If it is 0, it is 1 root. And if it is negative, it is 0 roots. So this one has negative, so it is 0 roots. Can you tell me what will be the sum of 2 roots? Don't find the roots. What will be the sum of those roots?
Sir, अभी बताया ना minus b over a.
Yes, minus b over a. So you have 6
over
as your b minus b over a, which is plus 6. So plus 6 is the sum of the 2 roots, and product would be c over a.
Yeah.
So that is minus 10 over
Sir,
minus 1.
एक second. You said
Yeah.
कि अच्छा you said नहीं, मैं पता है हमें कि इसके roots नहीं है. So how can the sum of the roots be 6?
Because come on, बहुत आसान है. Here's the thing. Minus b over 2a plus minus b square minus 4ac. ऐसे ही है.
ऐसे ही है.
If I add them, what will I get? One is minus b over 2a plus this portion.
Yeah.
इसको मैं k बोल रहा हूँ. And the other one is minus b over 2a minus this k portion. तो k portion तो automatically cancel हो गया.
Okay, ठीक है.
That's why. The sum of the roots depends on the vertex, not the
set
discriminant. ठीक हो गया? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm giving you another equation. Go on, convert it to the vertex form. Let's see. So the first step is to divide it all by 2. Basically, take that as common. Don't ignore it. It's still there, but it's just hidden now on the side. And you can still skip this step. The next step, just jump directly to 5 by 4. Divide this by 2. Squared minus 5 by 4 squared minus 3 by 2. The advantage of doing this is that you are not making a mistake of where do I have to half it and where do I not have to. You're just halving it. And now this gives me 2x plus 5 or 4 squared. And that numbers, that is 5 by 4 squared and then minus 1.5. I'm getting minus 49 by 8. Are you getting the same?
सर जो मैंने आपको टाइप करके भेजा वो गलत था, उसमें मैंने 2 से मल्टीप्लाई नहीं किया।
Okay, yeah, I just saw. Also, make sure that you don't make it 5 by 4. It is negative 5 by 4. What about the rest of you? Are you all done? Do you get this answer?
Sir, I don't understand where you got 4 from. Like 5 over 4.
Basically, I divided it by 2.
Divided what by 2?
The number 5 by 2, the middle number.
तो 5 by 2 को divide by 2 करने के बाद 5 by 4 आ जाता है।
Yeah, because you are dividing by 2 is the same as doubling the denominator. All right. Let's do. So, can you convert this to a root form? Root form is basically when you factorize this equation.
सर इसका वैसे हम उस तरह नहीं कर सकते ना, मतलब अल्फा बीटा वाले साइमल्टेनियसली सॉल्व करके उससे भी आ जाएंगे।
सम और प्रोडक्ट से
हाँ जी,
आ तो जाएंगे।
वो लंबा हो जाएगा मेरे ख्याल से।
Yeah, it will be a little longer. Factorization is easier.
Yeah, 3 और 2 हो जाएंगे। इधर मेरे ख्याल से एक आएगा
Just do
1.5।
it. Let's just do it.
Okay.
कर लेते हैं ना। So I have 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. So 2x squared plus 6x minus x minus 3. Why? Because 3 times 2 is minus 6. Factors of minus 6 that make 5 is minus 6 plus 1 or plus 6 minus 1. So that's my factor. Take 2x as common and left with x plus 3. Take minus 1 as common and left with x plus 3. And that gives me x plus 3, 2x minus 1. If I put it equal to 0, I get x equal to minus 3 and x equal to plus 1 by 2. Now here's the interesting part. If I add the two, what number do I get?
3.5. No, 2.5. Sorry, negative 2.
2.5, which is the same as minus 5 by 2.
Yes.
This. And if I multiply the two, I get minus 3 by 2, which is the same as dividing this by this.
Yeah.
So
अच्छा
that's
वो
a
minus b over 2a था ना?
Yeah, the sum of roots is minus b over a, and the product of root, product means multiplication, is c over a. Okay. All right, so let's do some examples now. Enough theory.
So इसको simultaneously solve करना है।
Yeah, exactly.
लेकिन सर ये x squared है बीच में।
तो कोई बात नहीं. You'll get another equation that you can factorize. क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
सर एक बात पूछनी थी आपसे।
Yeah.
ये सुपर स्कोर का क्या सीन होता है सिटी में?
It works.
No, how does it work?
Basically, if you attempt SAT in multiple attempts and you can take your highest score for the verbal part and the highest score for the mathematical part, और दोनों आप समझ रहा हो।
तो जो राइटिंग वाला सेक्शन है वो अलग है, रीडिंग वाला अलग है, मैथ वाले अलग है, या मैथ और इंग्लिश बस सिर्फ?
Just
Math
math.
and English, just math and English. Yeah.
ओके कूल। वैसे कोशिश
सर
तो
मैं
होनी
भी
चाहिए
बहुत
कि
स्टूपिड
दोनों।
सवाल करने वाला हूँ।
I'm sorry.
मैं भी बहुत स्टूपिड सवाल करने वाला हूँ।
There are no stupid सवाल. बोलो।
सर अगर बंदा एक सैट अटेम्प्ट दे सिर्फ
हाँ।
मैथ्स पे फोकस करके, मैं
अच्छा।
इंग्लिश में झक मार ले।
दूसरा खाली छोड़ा है।
हाँ, जो भी कर रहा है बस मैथ को अपनी तरफ से 800/800 कर, और फिर
हाँ।
अगला अटेम्प्ट सिर्फ इंग्लिश का 800/800 कर, और फिर
हाँ।
सुपर स्कोर कर।
हाँ। अब उसमें पता क्या होता है? उसमें जहाँ तक आई नो, यूनिवर्सिटीज कांट टेल कि आपने सुपर स्कोर जो भेजा है उसमें बाकी वाले स्कोर क्या थे। So I like the way you think.
Thank you.
ठीक है, तो वो ये नहीं होता कि it will hurt your admission chance. It won't.
Also, sir, in the last class, we only did the questions in the documents that you've sent on the group.
Yeah. ये तो आसान है.
ठीक.
ये हो गया सबसे.
जी
You basically have to solve it simultaneously, and I think Sharik, your answer is right. नहीं, हाँ बिल्कुल सही है. ठीक है. So should I solve it? या हो गया सबसे? The answer is 2. B is equal to 2. Did you all get that?
हाँ जी.
The rest of you. I feel like Moise का आज पहला दिन है ना, so he's very excited. अच्छा चलो, let's see this one. And this is an interesting problem. This problem.
सर वो पिछला वाला पहले सॉल्व कर लेंगे प्लीज.
Okay, sure. तो मैं जब पूछ रहा हूँ कि बता दो हुआ नहीं हुआ, बताओ ना.
सर मैं इतनी करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. There was a question like this that I tried to do for my midterms. और मैं अटक गया.
अच्छा अब देखो, we will bring this here, so that gives you minus 8x plus 16 equal to 0. Okay, and I want to know x so I can find y. So this is straightforward. X squared minus 4x minus 4x plus 16, which is x minus 4 whole squared. Okay, so x equals to 4. I get one answer. Now I can plug that back into one of the equations. I can just do this. 3 into 4 minus 10. And that gives me 2. 12 minus 10. So that's how I know. The point it's meeting is 4 and 2. And 2 is the value of y over there. Clear?
Sir, I'm sorry, मुझे कुछ नहीं समझ आया. मुझे आपकी लास्ट समझ आ गया. I just don't understand the arrow part. जो आपने arrow नहीं बनाया वो.
Oh, I just brought 3x to that side. So minus 3x हो गया. तो minus 5x minus 3x is minus 8x. And then 6 plus 10 is 16.
अच्छा आपने ऐसे किया हुआ है, साथ साथ रखा हुआ है, ऊपर नीचे नहीं रखा.
Is anybody able to get the answer?
सर एक जरा सीन हो गया है.
Yeah, क्या मतलब?
वो जब उसको फैक्टराइज कर रहा हूँ ना मैं, तो वो फैक्टराइज नहीं हो रहा. क्या मतलब आपके इसको मेरे ख्याल से इसकी एक ही रूट होएगी, या हो सकता है एक भी ना हो.
Okay, कर लेते हैं, देख लेते हैं. Anybody else? Any success? So here's the thing. We talked about discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. And we said that tells me if it is cutting the x-axis and the y-axis and all that. What is so special about x-axis?
Y is 0.
Y is equal to 0, right? So basically when I take minus x squared minus 6x plus 6x plus 3, if I put it equal to 0, then my b squared minus 4ac will tell me if it is touching the x-axis. Why? Because this is y is equal to 0. So if I don't put it y equal to 0, I put it 10, then what will it tell me? It will tell me, does it meet y equal to 10 line or not?
ठीक है.
Okay, so that is what I'm going to use. That gives me this, b squared minus 4ac, 6 squared minus 4 into minus 1 minus 7. That is 36 minus 28, which is 8. It is positive, so the roots are 2. Are you guys even there?
So wait, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Sir, if
Yes.
the question is asking how many times does the graph intersect the line, so is the answer 8 or 2?
The answer is 2.
Okay, because it's 2 roots. Okay, yeah.
It's 2 roots. Yes, that's why. This is a complicated question, so let's try this out. कोशिश करनी चाहिए. कोशिश इंसान के हाथ में. अब here's the thing.
Sir,
Yeah.
मतलब A B C D में से जिस भी चीज में हम 10 डालेंगे जिसका आंसर 0 होगा वो होगा.
देख लेते हैं ना, क्यों होगा?
सर क्योंकि जो क्वेश्चन में दी हुई है उसमें अगर हम 10 डालते हैं उसका आंसर भी 0 आ रहा है.
हाँ, exactly. That is the first step. Yes.
अच्छा, चलें. दोबारा कर.
First thing is,
आप करा दें.
whenever you see maximum or minimum, that is a hint that they are looking for vertex. तो आपको इसी फॉर्म का वर्टेक्स चाहिए, पता नहीं क्या है, तो हम एक काम करते हैं ना, हम इसको इक्वल टू 0 कर देते हैं. इट्स अ प्रीटी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड इक्वेशन, सॉल्व करनी भी आसान है. हम इसको इक्वल टू 0 कर देते हैं. -100n squared plus 1000n equal to 0. Why I'm trying to find the roots, and I'll tell you why. So 100n as common, so -n plus 10 gives me 100n equal to 0, and -n plus 10 equal to 0. So n equals to 10 and n equal to 0. So those are my two roots.
Sir, -n कहाँ से आया?
I took 100n as common, so this -100n square is -n area. Okay. Acha. Now what am I doing? I'm using the idea that my vertex is just the midpoint of my roots. So what is midpoint of 0 and 10? 5. So my vertex is 5. And then I want to figure out कि y की वैल्यू क्या है at 5. So p of 5 कर लेते हैं, -100 into 5 squared plus 1000 into 5, तो ये बन जाएगा -2500 plus 5000. So this is plus 2500. So my vertex form in this case is -100 x minus 5 whole square plus 2500. ये मेरा आंसर हो गया. कंप्लीटिंग द स्क्वायर कर लो.
हाँ जी सर, वो अगर जैसे मैं कह रहा था वैसे करेंगे फिर भी आ जाएगा.
Obviously आ जाएगा, मेथड तो वही है. And that brings us to the end of quadratics.